Hello, welcome back to my Let's Play Thaumcraft 2015 series. So, thanks to my Wand of Equal Trade, I now have a nice finished basement with all the walls and floor and ceiling all the same like I wanted to have it. So, I've used some chisel tools to get me some kinds of blocks. So, I used cobble white stone from MFR, which you can get from chisel from cobblestone. The wall is stone from chisel, stone bricks. I forget what they call that pattern, but something about natural masonry or something. I used red nether brick from chisel for the Thaumcraft room. I felt looked pretty good for this. All of the ceilings are stone. I might change that. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And finally, I used marble brick from Project Red Exploration. It looked, I think, very lab-like. I saw Rendog do stuff like this in 147 Minecraft from whatever the mod is that Project Red is recreating, and I thought that just looks amazing. So I really like being able to have that now thanks to Chisel and Project Red. So I did run into a couple of problems. First of all, this cobble white stone is not thermodynamics pipe cover compatible. So these are actually all cobble white stone and the pipes are back there in the wall, which I didn't like, but had to do what I had to do. So I may end up changing the floor again to something compatible with it. So if you want a floor or a ceiling or a wall and want to hide pipes in it, you might want to check that your mods are compatible with the types of blocks you're going to use. If you use all vanilla blocks, it's almost a guarantee. But if you use stuff from, MFR, Chisel, whatever, it may or may not be compatible. I've had pretty good luck so far. This MFR Cobble Whitestone is the only thing I've found that didn't go. And I didn't like the white frequency colored cobblestone from X Utilities. It was too dim, I thought, for the floor. I didn't get the contrast I was looking for between the wall and the floor. But whatever. Alright, moving on. I had to get tons of stone to be able to make the walls and the ceiling. And of course, if it's smooth stone, I didn't have very much of that. So I started using my furnace to cook up some smooth stone and found that to be ridiculously slow. So I ended up using my igneous extruder in stone mode, which uses water but does not use up any of your lava. And that works, and it was a bit faster. I just walked off for a little while and came back, and I had plenty of stone to finish my job. In fact, I even have several more stacks of stone left over. But I would like to upgrade my furnace. So Thermal Expansion 4 finally has upgrade slots, and I love this because IC2 was the only thing I knew about that had upgrades. You could put in overclockers to make them faster, but now the Thermal Expansion universe also has these upgrades, and they're called augments. So I've never used the augments before, so let's try it out. I'm going to make a speed augment level 1 for the Thermal Expansion furnace. So if you search for augment in NEI, you'll see augment secondary reception coil. If you hold shift down, it's for machine processing speed. Level 1, it doubles the speed, but increases the energy use by 50%. So instead of 20 redstone flux per tick for that furnace, it's going to use 30 now. And it requires a hardened machine. So we've been making these basic machine casings for all our machines, and I never told you about the other tiers, but I told you that there were tiers of machinery. So we can upgrade all of the machines. We can go from basic to hardened to resonant. That might be the 4th level, I'm not sure. But I know basic is level 1, hardened is level 2. So we're going to upgrade this furnace to a hardened furnace to get it to accept this augment. And we'll also get an extra augmentation slot. So by default, most of the machines have 3 augmentation slots and the same 3 basic augments that you've always used with thermal expansion: the redstone control, the outputs, and the configuration tabs. So we can upgrade this furnace with a hardened machine frame. So the hardened machine frame, let's see here. Alright, basic, hardened, reinforced, that's level 3. And then resonant, level 4. Okay, so the hardened machine frame is a basic machine frame with an electrum gear and 4 Invar ingots. And that would get you a machine frame that's hardened. If we had made the furnace with one of these hardened machine frames, it would be a hardened machine. But we don't have to make a whole new machine. We can simply use our hardened machine here in place of the machine frame with the rest of the material and upgrade this to a hardened redstone furnace. In fact, if we go to redstone furnace, we can see there's machine crafting and there's upgrade crafting. So to get a basic machine into a hardened machine, it's electrum, Invar, and the machine in the center. It's the exact same as if you're making the machine frame. You just put the machine you already have. So you can start at the bottom and work your way up as needed. I really like how simple that is. So let's get that in there. Alright, there we go, a hardened machine frame. So I think, yeah, I don't think you can scan the differences between them because I don't think they have, should be the same item type. Yeah. So I'm going to place that back down there, and we're going to right click on that. First of all, it's going to have more redstone flux storage capacity than it had before. Hardened machines can store more redstone flux than basic machines. This was storing 24,000 RF, now it's doing 36,000. And we have one more augmentation slot. So, the augmentation slots, we've got the servo mechanism, which if we take that out, it can no longer output to different things. The redstone circuit takes away the redstone tab. It would be always on. You can never disable it. So the redstone tab, really not that useful in some cases. Like for this, not that useful. I don't know when I'd ever turn off my furnace. It's not like it's doing anything bad when it's on. Alright. The configuration tab, that's the modular framework. So if we don't have that, we can't configure our machine frame outputs and inputs, and it just uses the default configuration, which might be fine for you. It just depends on what you need. So if you don't need to change the configuration, like we did, this is not the default, but if you didn't need to, you wouldn't have to. So we're going to add something in this fourth slot, that augment, and I can't remember what it's called, but or spell right now. The secondary reception coil. So go over to the crafting tab station, and we'll make that. And it's just bronze with a redstone reception coil and some redstone. To get bronze, there are several ways. You can make it in the smeltery, but with the forestry mod, I find the simplest way to get bronze is by combining copper ingots and a tin ingot. So 3 and 1 gets you bronze. That's the forestry bronze. Sorry. I put it through the MFR unifier to get IC2 bronze. Not that it really matters. Tinker's Construct calls it Tinker's Alloy, but it's bronze. Alright, now we have our secondary reception coil augment. I'm going to put it in here. Alright, and now it should use 50% more energy. Will it tell me it's going to do that? It might not until it actually starts running. So let's see how that works out. Let's see. What could I possibly want? Well, there is an item from Project Red that I might want to make. So it requires some double smelting of stone, or rather cooking up stone to get something else. So with the augment, we're getting these circuit plates from Project Red. If I take out the augment, you can see the difference in speed. It's at this rate right now. Now it's at that rate. So we've doubled the speed of our machine. And I like that quite a bit. I'm not sure yet why it's not outputting. You know what? It changed the configuration. I thought that it wouldn't, but it is. So, yeah. The output should be to the pipe at the bottom. Alright, so I'm going to need those a little bit later. Don't need them right now, but I will be using them sometime soon. Alright, so that's how we do the upgrades for thermal expansion to make our machines better, which is nice because I've always used industrial craft, the induction smelter or induction furnace, I can't remember what it's called right now, but it's a really nice, very fast furnace, and I generally use that, but I don't like having to maintain two different power systems. Having just redstone flux power is a very nice thing. So I'm hoping that I can stick with just thermal expansion or possibly Ender IO machines and stick to redstone flux. Now I will want to make some IC2 machines, I think, but we'll get to that later. Alright, I'm going to go get some materials because I would like to make some tools to help us with farming and to make our own little tiny village, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I've got what I need to make the golden lasso from Extra Utilities. The golden lasso is a really awesome tool that lets you move things around, and by things I mean mobs, animals, and even villagers. It's a really helpful tool for doing farming, ranching, and village building. So, to build it, we need gold nuggets, string, and an Eye of Ender. So it's a little bit expensive early on, but not too terrible, and it is reusable, which is fantastic. So, go test this out real quick. I'm going to disable my farm temporarily, because we're going to make some changes to it. So, let's get rid of the golem. I think he put his friend in the box. Alright, that was funny. Alright, done with them. Oh, I was curious how this worked too. Barley, 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 yeah. Okay. I was trying an experiment to see if the farm would stay proper, but it didn't, so. Alright, I don't know how they plant crops in the wrong spot, but they do. So, whenever you have a farm like this, or a ranch, the animals inevitably get out. Sometimes you don't care, sometimes it's very important they don't. So, a nice tool is the golden lasso. Right-click on a mob, and move it somewhere else. So, I'm going to separate the sheep and the cows and the chickens, since the chickens give feathers without, needing to breed and be killed anymore. I'm going to put them in a pen and put the sheep in a pen, and the only thing we need to kill is the cows for leather, because I don't know any other way to get leather right now. Well, actually, there are other ways, but I'm going to stick to just the vanilla mechanic of getting leather from cows for now. And I would like to increase the, efficacy of my farm, or at least make it a little bit better, expand my ranch a little bit, and make things a little bit better for the animals, and separate out my Thaumcraft stuff a little bit better, make my golems a bit more perceptive, and a bit more confined in what they're doing. So, the golden lasso is a good way that I'll be able to do that and manage my animals. But, additionally, I can also create my own village, because yes, the golden lasso works on villagers as well. So I can take some villagers from this tiny doomed hamlet. And I say it's doomed because they keep letting monsters in everywhere because they're stupid. And they're still in love with this one hut, but do much about that. Wow, that's weird. I've never seen a weird trade like that. Alright. Well, whatever. I'll just take one to show you that you can put them somewhere else. Now, he wants to run back home, but we'll put him somewhere else. But I'm going to be able to use this to move villagers over and make my own tiny little village. So I am going to go build a nice little house for them and show you some of the mechanics of village building and use the golden lasso to populate it just a little bit. And when I come back, I will show you what we can do to make our own village. And villages are kind of a nice thing to have around because if you ever end up needing emeralds, which occasionally you might do, you can you can melt villagers in the smeltery. If you murder them in the smeltery, they give you liquid emeralds, which you can cast into emeralds and use them like that. So, kind of a horrible way to get emeralds, I suppose. But if you need emeralds, and sometimes you do, like for instance, Mistcraft requires tons of emeralds, and I always say I'm going to get into Mistcraft, but never end up doing that because of the difficulty in doing so. But also, if you didn't have a Mistcraft villager, you might need to breed the villagers in order to find one to get the villager that you need, or to get better trades. You know, sometimes the villagers have just stupid trades. So, alright, so I'm going to go off camera and work on the terrain for the village a little bit, and when I come back, I'll show what we've done to make the little tiny hamlet, and I'll show you that. Alright, so I'm back, and I want to show you one more thing I'm going to use for the village and also for the house. It's from a mod called Obsidiplates, and basically they are obsidian pressure plates. A 1x2 stack of obsidian gets you obsidian pressure plates. And the reason that these are nice is that only a player can trigger an obsidian pressure plate. So if you step on one, only you will open this door. No mobs will open it. No villagers, other players would, but no one else. So it's a nice thing to have when you're outside. So here is my little village. I've dragged a bunch of villagers over here from the village down there, and we've built 4 of these. I'm going to call them breeding huts. That's probably not PC, but whatever. And there's a giant meeting house. This is the town, basically. If you're not familiar with village mechanics, basically a door that blocks sunlight that's beyond the door counts as a house in Minecraft. So this room counts as 40 houses. And the number of houses when a villager is nearby determines how many villagers can exist in the house, or in the village. If there aren't that many villagers, and there are at least 2 villagers, they will start making little villagers that will grow up and become these. So I brought 8 over, and the ones that are out here have all been basically bred by the other ones. Also, this is enough of a size to get this iron golem to spawn to protect the village. Now, I've put torches up so things won't spawn near here, but the iron golems are kind of neat anyway. I like them. So, and I like to make these little huts to keep the villagers in because they're little... Like, whenever you put an animal into breeding mode, they just kind of go find each other. You can't put a villager into breeding mode, it just kind of happens. So, with the villagers, you need to make sure they're close by to ensure breeding. So, that's what I did to get this village, and if I don't like what a villager is trading, I will take him somewhere and move him elsewhere. So in Tinker's Construct, you can actually melt down villagers in the smeltery for emeralds. and occasionally that's quite useful. So I may employ that mechanic at some point. We'll see. But there we go. I have a nice little village over here, and I can trade with the villagers, which I may need to do. There is another object that we might want to get at some point called a trading post, either from open blocks or extra utilities. Let's see here. Yeah, and this will help us out by showing you what trades are available in the village. So it makes it a little bit easier to do villager trading when there's a bunch of villagers and they all kind of look the same sometimes. So also, if we don't have the right kind of villager, that's another reason I may want to get rid of some of these villagers and have them populate other ones. So I've got a couple of Thaumcraft villagers, but I haven't seen a Mistcraft villager, and definitely going to want one of those for Mistcraft at some point. Alright, so there's my village. I used the golden lasso to get that. I've redone a lot of the outside. The ranch and the bushes and the smeltery are gone. I rebuilt the smeltery downstairs. I haven't put the crucible back up downstairs in the Thaumcraft room. The Thaumcraft room needs some expansion, but I will get to that soon. So that's a good wrapping up point for now. Just want to show you the village and explain the mechanics, so in case you want to create your own village. And if you make it bigger, it can spawn more iron golems as well. So, alright, that's a wrap. Catch you next time.